God is using you. You have been chosen. Not let that get to your ego, but like to get to your soul, like to get to your heart. I think that there needs to be more of a conversation where we're bridging the world of God and the world of spirituality. And I want to have a conversation about what it looks like to have a both and mindset around these two things. I'm not saying this conversation happening, and I want to open this conversation. Really, this podcast is going to be a conversation on where I stand and where I've landed in my spiritual self, and maybe you can resonate. The reason why I wanted to sit down and to record this is because on TikTok, I posted a video that went absolutely viral and has thousands of comments on it saying, me too, me too, me too. I feel the same way. I don't want to choose God or spirituality. And so we're going to have that conversation today on the show. I want to give you a warm welcome to Own It with me, your host, Samantha Warren. Whether this is your first episode, your first video, or you've been an OG listener, I just want to welcome you back. We talk so much here about owning it. What does that mean to be a leader, live in integrity with who you are, what you're here to do, your purpose, your mission. And part of that includes a conversation about a higher power, and whether that's God or the universe or life, whatever it is, we're going to have that conversation today because it's really important. It's been coming up so much in so many of my conversations with clients who I'm helping become thought leaders and prominent voices in their respective industry. And I think it's a conversation that we just need to be having. I also just want to say, if you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube, I'm in my van right now, which is really exciting. You can see Heffy's butt behind me. Kurt and I drove down to New Mexico for this Thanksgiving week. My birthday is November 26th. His is the 21st. So we got a little Scorpio Sag situation going on. And we are taking a week at the hot springs and yeah, just celebrating Thanksgiving and, all the things. So that's why I'm in my van. Been a bit since I've recorded an episode in my van. If you are new here, yes, my husband and I did do van life full time for 3 years in this van, and I still ran the podcast. And it was batshit crazy. But that's a side note. So if you want to learn more about that, just scroll back, find some of the episodes that talk about van life, and you'll see them. So let's have this conversation about God. Let's have this conversation about God. I have been getting this, I guess, insight that we as a collective are moving away from this or and into both and. And whatever your stance is on, like whatever your political stance is, when the whole thing with Charlie Kirk happens, it created a really big conversation. You saw that in the media, you saw that in social media, you saw that on the news. There was so much, and Candace Owens now is leading that charge. And I'll probably maybe address kind of what I'm seeing in the world of analysis there. But what I'm starting to get the sense of is that we as a community, as a collective, are longing for truth and connection and living from truly the heart and not being this side versus this side. And what I started seeing happening in the like God, new age spirituality, religion, all of this is that there's a divide, right? There's a divide. There's clearly a divide. Either you're in God as religion or you are in new age spirituality. And I want to describe what those two mean. I grew up Catholic, so I had a very I'm going to say, from my perspective, I had a very warped understanding of what God was. I thought God was a man who judged me and made me feel shame for sinning, and that I was a bad person, and that I sinned and I needed to repent, and this whole thing. So I had a pretty complex relationship with God because it made me feel so awful. And I remember growing up in the Catholic Church thinking, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right, but I don't know that there's another option, right? Now, fast forward, I go to college. I kind of move away from the church, as most people do when they're in college. Some people obviously stay in it, but I just kind of didn't pursue that on my own. After college, I started going back to church. It was a non-denominational church, and I enjoyed it, but not enough to keep going. But what happened is I started to embark on my personal growth journey, and I think that the personal growth, the entrepreneurial, and like the spiritual, like personal evolution, they're all one and the same. Building a business, building a company, building a brand, it is definitely a journey, okay? You got to face all your demons, I think. It's better than therapy. It truly is. But what happened is I started to become aware of what we call now New Age spirituality. I grew up Catholic. I knew what God was. I knew what organized religion was. But then I find this other thing, energy. And oh, you can have spiritual gifts. You can be clairvoyant. You can have visions. You can have sight. You can know things. You can sense energy. You can be intuitive. You can be psychic. You can be all of these things. And it started to make me just open my mind to what was possible. I started to realize that I was very intuitive. My mom is also very intuitive. And my dad has become a psychic medium. And so I started to put the pieces together of, whoa, like there's clearly some gifts in my family. Oh my God. Now I started to get introduced to the world of like, oh, oracle decks and these fun things and whatever, crystals and all the things, right? And I never felt like there was like one thing that was going to solve all my problems. I just thought they were fun, honestly. I think oracle decks, tarot decks, all that, they're fun. They're fun tools. You can make it mean something really deep or not, but they're fun. They're fun tools. And so, and same with like human design, astrology, all these things, these are tools. And so that's all I saw them as. But what I started to see is at the end of 2023, early 2024, and even this whole last year of 2025, where there being a serious divide, where people were either Jesus loving Bible freaks or New Age spirituality super hardcore. And, you know, I have a friend, her name is Liz. She's incredible. She's leading this new movement called God at the Center. If she's listening, hi Liz, I love you. I think what you're doing is amazing. And we were having a conversation about God, and I started listening to the book Conversations with God. And I started asking myself, what do I actually believe? Why do I feel so much cringe around the word God? Because when I traditionally think about God, I think about God and religion as one and the same. But that's not necessarily true. And I've started to realize that I believe in God. I believe that there's a higher power. I do believe that we have like fate and destiny, but I also believe in like past lives and free will and the power of energy. And so I put out a TikTok on this because I was like, where is the conversation around God and spirituality? Why isn't there a conversation about both? I am very intuitive. I've been told many times that in past lives I was a witch and I was a little medicine woman in the woods and blah, blah, blah. And I am a very powerful intuitive. And I see things, I know things, I have such conviction. And I'm a messenger. I feel like God uses me as a vehicle to share the truth. I try to get myself out of the way as much as possible, to not filter it through my own ego or through my own lens of experience, but I obviously have perspective and insights from being on this planet for however long I've been here. So I'm like, where do I fit into this? Where do I fit into this? God, spirituality. I don't like religion. It feels really distorted to me. It feels controlling. It feels like there's an ulterior motive. It feels fear-based. And that's not, to me, the pureness of what I believe. And so I decided to make a video saying that you can have both. You can be both. You can believe in both. Because I was like, I do believe in God, but I don't see God as a man with a beard. I see God as energy all around us, consciousness, Mother Nature, us. We are God. God is us. Like we are the ever changing consciousness. It's really meta, and I feel like I will do a better job at explaining this the more that I dive into this and go on this rabbit hole. But there is a wholeness or like a oneness between me and you. We are so much more alike than we are different. And when we start to see that, we stop pedestaling. And that's what I didn't like about religion. And quite frankly, what I don't like about so many things in society is that there is such a skewed power dynamic. There is so much illusion in the power. And so I always found that with religion. I was like, I don't want to be praying to some man up there who's judging me for my sins. That doesn't feel right. And no, but I also believe in living in integrity and listening to God, who is giving me messages or giving me insights or telling you what to do, what not to do, right? And we could also say that's intuition too. And so I'm like, where do I stand in this? I felt very confused. And so I make this TikTok, right? not expecting anything of it, but I also knew that it felt so true in my body, and also it feels like a very collective theme that's happening. I put it out there and I was like, okay, we'll see. Well, I wake up the next day and I think there was a few thousand views on it. Now, I'm going to tell you how many hours this 1 minute video has been watched, because it's actually mind-boggling to me how resonant it is for this community and our community, okay? Almost 7,000 likes on this video and 1,751 comments. 1,700 comments. Like, that is crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. Like, look at, I don't know if you can see this on the video. You can see all these comments coming in. Like, this is bananas. There is such a longing for the and in the community, and like, where are my people? And that's what's been happening in this video in the comments. If you follow me on TikTok, my handle is Voice and Visibility, my company name. Every single person in these comments, like, oh my God, yes, yes, yes. I was raised Catholic. I practice Reiki and hypnotherapy. Like, I'm definitely both. I'm definitely both. I'm so happy you're saying this. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we? And I'm sitting here. I'm like, oh fuck! I just unlocked the floodgates. I mean, 1,751 comments. Like, what? There's so many of us that see it as both, and I don't know what to do about this necessarily, because, you know, the comments of my TikTok section is like, where do we go? Where do we go? And I'm like, keep following along. Like, the community is here. The community is on this podcast. And so I wanted to bring a deeper conversation to this podcast, because I believe that if you truly are here to lead a movement and a mission, and you're here to be a leader, whether you want to use the word spiritual leadership or purpose-driven leadership or impact-driven leadership, when you are here with a unique message and mission on your heart, and you are the one that's been chosen to lead it, and you're like this old soul, you've lived many lifetimes, you're here to share this wisdom in this lifetime, it is going to require you to have a deeper relationship with God. And the reason being is because, I have goosebumps, and I'm like, oh my God, if you are trying to bear that weight all by yourself, you're going to get tired, you're going to get worn out, and you are going to let, and hear me when I say this, you're going to let the devil infiltrate your thoughts. Now, I've never even talked about the devil. I've never believed in the devil. I didn't even know the devil was a thing. But going back to the Charlie Kirk thing that I was talking about, I think that when he was killed, something really cracked open, right? His group, whatever it's called, organization is called Turning Point. I think it was a turning point for society. Whatever your political view is, I really didn't consume much of his content, but the whole thing about somebody being killed for their beliefs, that's a huge issue. And that rattled people. And that rattled me. I am a messenger. I am a messenger for what I believe to be true. And if we don't agree, that is okay. And I think that is the point that I'm trying to make with this whole episode. It's like, it's not God versus New Age spirituality. It's both. God and religion, actually, maybe not religion, but God is spirituality. And it is spiritual and energy, and it's all one and the same, like the Holy Spirit, like it's all the same. But we are so disillusioned, and we are taught to see one different from the other. We are taught to see them versus us, to see the difference. It's also how our brains are wired, because we are taught to scan for threats, and a threat is anything that's not like us, that could kill us or attack us or mess us up. And it actually requires a returning to the heart, which is going to be really important for 2026, a returning to the heart of truly living and operating from that place. Really doing what you are lit up by and makes you come alive, and that you love, and that you're here to do, and you know it in your soul, in your being. It's not really going to work anymore to just like push, force, and do the thing you've always done for money or for whatever else. It's just not going to work. It will collapse. And so there's a lot of collapsing right now happening, because the structures that kept us separate are collapsing. That is what it is. Oh my God. That is actually what it is. The structures that kept us separate are collapsing. Whether it's religion versus this, or, you know, fear versus that, or power dynamics, it is changing rapidly. And I've been feeling this so deeply because I'm like, wait a second, like, I believe in God. I don't subscribe to religion, but I also truly believe in the power of energy. So what if it all can happen at the same time? What if it all can coexist? And I've really started to sink into that. I have been praying more. I have been spending so much more time in nature. I mean, I spend a lot of time in nature. If you have been part of my community for a while, you know this. I am almost always in nature. Um, but it's like spending time in nature and asking God for guidance, asking life force energy to give us guidance. Anyone, you, me, your parents, your siblings, your kids, everyone is intuitive. Every single person. Every single person has an intuition. It's it's just a matter of, have you practiced listening to it enough to know what it sounds like? And the more that we can clear what is going on inside of us, the more we can hear that voice. God's voice, you can also substitute a different word for God if it's still not like, if it's still creating some sort of like a disrupt in your body. Because for me, it was for a long time, for like many years. I couldn't say the word God. It actually like freaked me out. Because like religious trauma. But like God's voice is going to lead your mission. And I just had a conversation with someone who is going to be working with me in voice and visibility to bring their thought leadership to life, right? And their brand and their message, and whether they do a podcast or not, and speaking, and really what they're known for. Like, what are they becoming an expert in? What are they really leading? What is their voice here to do? And we were talking, and I said, look, if we move forward, it's a three-way relationship. It's God, you, and me. And we are in harmony. And there is no separation. Like, I am acting as a vessel to channel messages to you, and I am working with God to help your business and brand grow, and vice versa. And your intuition and mine, like, it is a co-creative triangle or circle, whatever process. And I feel that way about the work I'm here to do. And I do believe that in order for us to evolve as a society, we need to get out of our heads and our egos and actually start operating as channels and vessels for the evolution of consciousness. Like, truly. Um, I even had a client tell me, like, a few weeks ago. I might have said this on the show. I just feel like it's so profound. And I was like, wow, yes. She's like, I feel like God is working through you to help me. And I was like, that is actually what I feel like too. I think when we are leaders with the voices, it is imperative that we have space to hear the guidance, because oftentimes your next move is not going to come from you in your own mind. It is going to come from co-creation with God or source or the universe and another co-creator, another collaborator, another partner, because God works through other people to tell you stuff. It doesn't always have to just be you and God, right? Or you and the universe. People are messengers to give you intel. And this is why I have been such a fan of having a team and collaborators, because I operate at like 1/10 of my power when I don't have people with me on this. And you probably feel the same way if you're more visionary and very highly creative and have the ideas, that not having the people that can help you bring this to life, it's slowing you the fuck down. God wants you to go fast. And there's divine timing, but like, you can only go as fast as you can go. But if you have the co-creators, co-collaborators, you can bring this to life much faster. And so I want to invite you into thinking about how you show up in your leadership with God and with the people that you know can help you bring your mission, movement, etc. to life. There is such a power in surrendering control, in listening, being a good steward of God and the mission that is wanting to move through you. And this is not like outsourcing your power to God. It's not that. It's being in divine union with a bigger force. It's about you being a vessel, a vehicle for the voice, energy, whatever is coming to you, you opening up yourself to hear it and then go execute on it, and shortening that distance between idea and action, not being in your head, one day at a time, one step at a time, one action at a time, boom, and going and going and going and going and staying in momentum and moving your body, because we need to move our body to hear our intuition, because we need to clear out the energy, right? It's like the cyclical thing. We're receiving insights. Okay, cool. I implement. Then I receive insights. Okay, cool. I implement. And I receive insights. Okay, I implement over here. Oh, okay. I receive another insight. I make a decision. I have to take a left turn. You're going to be guided. You don't have to make the plan alone. You need to be guided. You actually need to surrender and listen. Listening is going to be really important for you. And yeah, there's just such a deeper level of surrender and trust in what you are being used for. I need you to know that, like, you are being used. God is using you. You have been chosen. Not let that get to your ego, but like to get to your soul, like to get to your heart. Like, God is using you. You, your life experience, the shit that's happened to you, all of that. He is working through you to bring something to life. And you have to receive the responsibility of that and say, wow, okay, I'm gonna surrender to this, and I'm going to go on my mission and find my people that are going to help me bring this to life, right? I think about this weekend. If you saw my Instagram stories, one of my clients, Steve, who I just had on the show last week or the week before, the Neuro's Journey, amazing. I love him so much. I hope he's listening to this. I love you, Steve. And, you know, he hired me in Voice and Visibility to bring his vision of a podcast to life, to step into thought leadership, to grow this brand, to have these conversations with incredible people on things about healing, psychedelics, mental health, connection, and really one of his superpowers is vulnerability, letting his heart be seen and inviting people on. And it ends up being a cry fest. It's so beautiful. I love men crying. But I was thinking about it this weekend because I was like, I emceed this event, right? We had 150 people at his podcast launch party in Boulder. It was amazing. If you were there, oh my God, you know. And if you weren't able to make it, you got to come to the next podcast party that we throw. But I literally set the intention, and I was praying before I landed in that room for God to work through me and use me to make this vision that he has and that I have for him and that God has for us, our little partnership, to bring it to life. And it's like, it's this feeling of like, it is something so much bigger than either of us. And for you to hear that your mission is so much bigger than you can even fucking fathom and think about. And so to really surrender to what is, like truly surrender, like there was a higher power, there was a greater force that brought 150 people into the same room to have these really, really impactful conversations about taking the masks off and letting yourself be seen. Like that message means so much to me. And it's like, I felt so drawn to working with Steve to bring that project to life because it means so much to me. I'm living in my heart, and I want you to feel the same way. It's like, you have to trust where your heart is leading you. You have to trust where God is pulling you. You have to trust that, oh my God, the thing I thought I was going to build, I'm not building. Well, that's okay. Just start to slowly detour. It's okay. You are going to be fine. You've always been fine. You need to trust that. Your safety and security does not come from money. It's so much bigger than that. You have to remember that. So I need you to trust. I know I just went on a tangent, but it's all related. God, spirituality, the conversation of both of these things, and what it means for you as a leader, what it means for you as somebody who's on a mission, what it means for you to step fully into your calling, into your purpose, into visibility, into the spotlight, onto the mic. Okay. I feel complete with this. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to know, do you believe in both? Are you feeling still repelled by religion? What's been your experience with religion? What's your experience with God? What's your experience with New Age spirituality? I think this conversation we could take forever, but I really want to hear in the comments of YouTube, in the comments of Spotify, like what is landing for you, or shoot me a message on Instagram or on TikTok and let me know. I want to know what is landing, because this conversation is like so much bigger than us. And did you just hear Heffy? He just growl. He just like, I don't even know. He made a moan. He's moaning. He's feeling it too. But yeah, really just sitting with this of like, where do you feel like you land in this conversation? And what would it look like if you fully surrendered to what is bigger than you? And when you surrender to what is bigger than you, and you let go of control and you stop trying to micromanage everything, if you let the universe literally lead you and guide you, and God take you on the path, you're going to be fine. Everything's going to be fucking amazing. I'm not even saying fine, but like, I know you're scared. I know you're scared. You're scared about money. You're scared about what ifs. You're scared about, oh my God, it's new. It's unknown. What the fuck? I'm telling you, it's going to be so much better than you could ever imagine. And with 2026 being a new, like a 1 year in numerology, there is going to be a new foundational energy that you are bringing into this new year. And I just want to remind you that it is like truly safe to follow your heart. Okay? Like, from my heart to yours, it's safe to follow your heart. Yeah. So that's my message for you today. Again, let me know how this landed. If this resonates, send this to your friends. Please, please, please. Send this to people that you're like, this is thought stimulating. This is provoking. This is making my consciousness expand. Good. Send it to people. I want to have this conversation in a bigger capacity. And yeah, I really hope this landed for you and resonated with you. So anyways, I'm going to wrap up here. I love you guys. Thank you. If you are not already subscribed, by the way, please just do me a favor and subscribe and leave us a review. It means so much to us, to the show, to me. And I want to just get this message out there. So thank you. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about voice and visibility, growing into thought leadership, please reach out to me. We are starting to enroll clients and working with clients who are really building the next level of their evolution in 2026. I have different packages and all of those things. So please reach out to me, whether it's just a creative strategy session or it's long-term advising and consulting. We literally do it all, from launching a podcast to growing a podcast to monetizing a podcast to building thought leadership to brand strategy to brand direction and visuals, photo shoots, like the whole 9 yards that you need to do to step into being a true leader and a voice and a thought leader, right? Where you are truly the voice. Okay. I love you. Thank you for being here. And I will see you on next week's episode. Okay. Bye.